What's going on, people? Good morning. Welcome to the Morning View. Welcome to United View. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are back for another morning show, Friday the 29th of September. So let us know where you're watching from in the world, what time of day it is, how you're feeling. Day before match day. Busy day today. Obviously, we've got this show coming up. And it's press conference day as well. It's presser day before our game tomorrow against Palace. Second part of a two-part thriller in a few days against
what a thriller.
Palace.
What a thriller that is.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to build it up, Owen. You've got to build it up.
I get it.
Got to sell the fight. You know, awful promoter you'd be. You know what I mean?
Obviously not. You kidding me? I live in the world of pro wrestling. Of course, it's a big thriller. The Clash of the Titans, the irresistible force moving the immovable object, kind of, even though it was kind of moved to on Tuesday. Oh, it's brilliant, Flex. Better.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Old earphones are back, Owen, says Steffi Jenks. He's got the old ones back in.
I got these. Do you know what? It's because I don't trust AirPods. Because I've got them here, right? And this is a peek behind the curtain, yeah? Because whenever Flex calls me, most of the time, I can't. I sort of try to pick up the phone, then it hangs up, and then I call him back, or I pick up the phone and I have to wait like 10 seconds, and they're silenced. Then the first thing he hears is me going, "Bloody AirPods, they're rubbish." I just don't trust them.
But Owen, I use mine every. What you got? Oh, you got some Beats. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. They look very secure.
No, these aren't. These aren't.
Beats.
These are the old ones. I got my Beats. They're just a bit out of reach. I can get them if you want.
Yeah. Guys, can I just say one thing? Yeah, this is how you know. Yeah, that like there's no like crazy news stories. We're gonna have to do some opinion. Look at him. Look, this is how you know. Go on, let's have a look.
Yeah, they've got them. You know, they're the noise cancelling ones.
Oh, you got the over ear ones. I thought you meant.
No.
Oh, right.
Which looks a bit strange on me because Flex has never seen them.
Go on. Put them on quickly. Let me see.
What I have to take these off. It's going to mess things up.
All right. Okay, baby.
Put them over the top.
Yeah.
I got double noise now.
You look like a proper commentator. All you need is one of them now. You look like John Motson.
It's Manchester United side. Get a jacket on as well. Shall I just dress up this morning?
Why is he? What on earth? Owen? He's just yeah. Owen looks sharp. Interesting shave there. Owen got a fresh trim, fresh cut. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. Yes, but big up Owen. He just wants to dress up and be John Motson this morning and just do that. But we have actually got a show to do. I promise you, we've got a show.
In the bed set.
Imagine. Yeah. Super chats early doors as well. You can get your super chats. You remember that. Game Fanatic says, Owen, did your dad buy any jerseys this season? Someone asked you that the other time. What did you say?
He has, did he? But I'm not sure if he's got any names on the back this season. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check with that one.
Yeah, okay. Lil Yo-Yo says, Fleck, teach Owen what a gallus is. You know what that is, Owen? Gallus?
A gallus?
Yeah. Yeah, gallus.
Wow. That sounds some kind of, I don't know, is it some kind of drink?
No, it's nothing to do with cuisine or food or
okay.
To do with that. No.
I know.
Go on.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some kind of trainer, innit? Some kind of sneaker. You're a big sneakerhead, so it's probably something like that. I don't know what the new gallus is. Don't worry about it.
I don't know what's worse, me trying to talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or Owen trying to, kind of look at what these words mean, because that couldn't be any further away from what it is.
Oh,
so yeah, I thought you'd understand a piece more, but probably gonna have to move on because that's bad.
That's fine.
To be fair,
I don't know why you expect that of me.
No, but that's like you couldn't even what I thought you'd be able to do is maybe marry up a little, like stitch the word so you know what a gal is, maybe.
Yeah.
So that I just thought that would just start you off, but you've just You haven't even done that. You've just got no clue. So we'll have to Lil Yo-Yo. I'll have to tell him another time. But we have got a show to do. I promise you.
Do we?
Yeah, we do. Ten Hag's best starting 11. When we're talking about that, Bruno and Rashford return for tomorrow. We want to talk to you about that. Get your insight and your opinions on that. Injuries a factor. What our best midfield is as well. Just an opinion piece. You know, when the news is a bit dry, there's no point just making stuff up for likes and clicks and just lie. Let's just talk Man United. Let's do an opinion show. And we haven't actually done one of these about our best 11 because it was interesting when Ten Hag said the other day he's never been able to choose his best 11. And me and Owen kind of said that was because Martial was missing for most of it. But now we got new players and we've had so many injuries. It does change the question a little bit. Best starting 11. You lot put it in the chat and you start. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't know.
Everyone fit, Owen. Tomorrow we play Man City at home, Man City away, Real Madrid.
Well, that's difficult. That's difficult
actually,
to say
because you do change.
You would tweak some things.
All right, okay. Let me rephrase the question. Just overall, of the team you would play more often than not, what is your go-to team? The team that would make the most appearances consecutively if you was the manager.
This is really hard. Can you go first?
That's not really how this works, but I can. Right, so Onana in goal. Yeah.
Well, I said you first because there was a siren as well.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
Trying to be professional.
Oh, right, I didn't know that. Okay, I thought you was just stuck. That's not like Owen to be stuck. He usually has loads to say.
I could hear it coming, and I went, I'm not going to get through the whole team.
Okay, right, I'm going to go Onana.
You're stuck as well. You were having the same thoughts I was thinking. You were thinking fullbacks, weren't you? And the thing is, the argument will be, so say you start right back, right? People will go, you think, well, Wan-Bissaka defensively, but then you go actually in the sort of full completed version and vision of Erik ten Hag, is Aaron Wan-Bissaka really the sort of technical player that he's looking for? It's a big question.
We're going to go ideal situation. So this is not, again, because when you're talking about tweaking the team, again, for certain games away from home or certain big games, you know Wan-Bissaka straight in, and that's not even a question. But on a day-to-day, just with Man United being on the ball as much as I'd like us to be, I'm going to say Dallo. Yeah. Martinez, Varane. Goes to Rafe the Phantom. And Luke Shaw. Is that fair?
No, I'm about.
Left back? Nah.
In an ideal situation, this is what I mean, Flex.
Yeah? Okay, so what, in an ideal situation, the team is sourcing so much that Amrabat could just basically be our left back most of the time and come into midfield and invert.
Extra midfielder. Basically, like when we played
against the really good teams,
like when we played against Palace on Tuesday, it was a bit like at points we were really playing with three at the back and the fullbacks weren't involved. The fullbacks were midfielders, and actually Casemiro dropped back and sort of split the two centre backs. Essentially, there was a free, and then you've really got actually midfield. It became sort of a midfield quartet. It became Amrabat, Casemiro, Amrabat, Mount, and then actually Hannibal dropped back.
The thing is with that is we can do that, but it has to be against, let's be honest, probably bottom half of the table, mid-table to down.
Well, this is the thing, Flex. We're saying ideal situation, yeah? And and you know what? You want to get to a point, and this is what Ten Hag will want to get to. He'll want to get to a point a bit like Manchester City, where everyone they're facing isn't as good as them, so they can play that kind of style all the time. You know when you'll see them. You know when they'll see their back four, and you go, that guy's not a left back, or that guy's not a right back, and they'll go, it doesn't matter because he's going to be playing in midfield. They're basically extra midfielders. So to get to Ten Hag's true vision, it would be that actually we're dominating every game of football, and most teams that we're playing, we're having 60-70% possession, and we're in the ball so much that really we don't really need the fullbacks that often to be doing their defensive role. We need the extra bodies in midfield. So an argument could be made that in his ideal team, it would be an Amrabat at left back. Now, what does that mean?
Won't. Do you know why it won't? Do you know why it won't? Yeah, because of that. Ten Hag has not bought Amrabat to mainly play left back as this inverted.
He did not. But sometimes it's funny how football works out, isn't it? When he was at Ajax, he didn't have Lisandro Martinez initially to be a centre back, and he ended up being there. and he became a very good centre-back. Sometimes in football, it's not how you start out, it's how you finish. And that happens with a lot of players sometimes, you know. Roberto Firmino, when he came in at Liverpool, didn't come in to be a number 9, didn't come in to be a false 9. I think he came in, was it attacking midfielder, something like that? Sometimes you stumble on things. Sometimes you stumble on systems. And are we also saying then, as part of that, has the system kind of changed a little bit? And not just based off one result, but also based on the players that he has at his disposal now, and a case of, actually, how do I fit all of these in? How do I get to my
But that's but that's what I mean. So that is true. That has happened because, like you said, the players we've got at our disposal. We had no left back against Palace. He already told us Amrabat can play fullback in his presser, so it made sense. And obviously, he didn't even play as an actual out and out fullback. It was perfectly done in terms of the level of opposition we were playing against, the way the opposition played, and basically, obviously, the profile of Amrabat where he's comfortable doing that. So all of those things worked in our favour. I always tell KG about sample size. We have to wait and see what happens, because if Reguilon's fit, Ten Hag's going to go over left back, I think. I really do. I don't think if Reguilon's fit, I think Amrabat will go into midfield and he'll play alongside Casemiro.
What, on tomorrow?
Yeah, if Reguilon's fit. Like you said the other day, it's a knock-on effect. I think I saw your show. You were saying
it depends. A domino effect, yes.
Yeah, it's a domino effect. So if Reguilon isn't fit, we'll see what we saw the other day, because that's all you can do. And it's Palace again. So, you know, even though they're going to play a slightly better team, we should still be able to play that same formation, that same inverted fullback. Shouldn't be a problem. They won't be as rubbish as they were, but we should still be on top. We should still have the ball, which I'm expecting us to. So you can play Amrabat there. But if Reguilon is back fit, I think he brings him back in. I think he does.
This is what is strange about that one, because even if he was, I'm not sure if he would bring Reguilon back in. And the only reason I say it's not anything that Reguilon's done negatively, or anything like that.
Injuries.
Well, no, it's not even necessarily that. It might be based on the opponent, based on what he thinks they're likely to do. We were chatting before we went live that I think true. Palace will play better players, because it wasn't their strongest team, clearly, on Tuesday. But I don't think their style of play or their tactical setup will be largely that different. I think it'll be the same of get people behind the ball, hit them on the break. We've got faster players. We've got better players that are in transition this time around. So we'll hit United on the break. We'll see what happens. We'll have Eze in there. We'll have just better players, but the system will be largely the same. And if that is the case, then I don't see Ten Hag really changing that much from the system that he played on Tuesday, which was actually the fullbacks aren't really fullbacks. I want to get as many people into the middle of the midfield that I can to support Casemiro, which means Amrabat, Casemiro, and Mount all have to play somehow, some way. Also, I do think he'll look at like a Hannibal Mejbri and say, well, he's done nothing to warrant being dropped out of the sides. And it's not even just in a Carabao Cup game now, it's Premier League as well against Burnley. And, Bruno will come back into the team because he will.
But Mount's not staying on the bench.
Well, that's what I mean. So that's why it will be a similar setup against Palace on Tuesday. Because his dilemma, his quandary now is, how do I get them all into that team? How do I get as many bodies into the midfield
So what you're saying is, against Palace tomorrow, you're saying Amrabat left back, Hannibal, Casemiro, Bruno, and Mount on the right, or Bruno on the right and Mount in the middle, or whatever. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, because I don't know how that fits. Someone's got to give, but I'm not sure who that would be.
Mason Mount, I'm telling you now, is starting tomorrow.
Do you think so?
Yes, 1,000,000%. Bruno is starting tomorrow. Palestri. Apart from the domino effect that you're talking about with the Reguilon thing.
Oh, so you'd swap out?
Yeah. Apart
Bruno
from
on the right. Bruno on the right.
No. It'd be Mount on the right, I think.
Well, and Hannibal drops a bit deeper.
No, I don't think Hannibal's going to play tomorrow.
You think Hannibal's going to play?
No. I think he's going to go if Reguilon's fit.
Oh, so you're saying Reguilon, right?
So I think so I just think he'll go back to that back four with Reguilon in there. Yeah. Varane and probably Lindelof. I think Martinez, they have said we'll talk about Martinez a little bit later about the reports about his injury, which is a bit positive, to be fair. But I still think he might miss this one. You don't know actually though, do we really, do you? Because you don't know when they're going to bring him back in. But I just think they'll go Varane, Lindelof, Dalot. Then I think because Reguilon's fit, I think he goes Amrabat, Casemiro, Bruno. Then I think the front three will be Rashford, Højlund, Mount. The only way different it could be is Bruno could go to the right and Mason Mount will be in the middle.
See, I look at Hannibal in the last few games, right? At a time which in the press conference before the Burnley game, it was in the embargoed part. And the question was put to him, why aren't the players running? And he said, I don't know. I don't know why they're not running, but they're not. Clearly,
so
they
you don't think you want to tamper that?
Followed by that, Hannibal came in and put some of the best numbers, or the best numbers of the season for United in terms of distance covered,
running
pressing.
numbers, yeah,
and also some of the best numbers since Ten Hag arrived. I got him in front of me here. Pressures per 90 minutes. He was top, 100, and the closest person was Rasmus Højlund, 78.7. Continues by saying, he also led the statistics where the presser reaches a sustained speed of more than 25 kilometers an hour. He was top of that. People below him were like Tavernier, Son, Gordon, Odegaard. Also, at Turf Moor, Hannibal covered more ground than any other player on the pitch, covering 12.9 kilometers, more than any Manchester United player this season. It's also more than any Manchester United player since Erik ten Hag arrived at the club in one game. Now, I think you could say, granted, it's Burnley, but it's also at a time in which Ten Hag's frustrated with players that aren't doing enough running, that aren't covering enough ground. And I think he'll not only want someone that is going to cover that ground going to press, but also he'll want to send a message to certain players, to those younger players. What did he say after the game against Palace? It's not about giving you an opportunity. You got to earn up. You got to earn that chance. You got to earn that opportunity. And we're talking so often about, like, where's the press? Where's the intensity? Where's the people actually pressing? We see it. Then do we want to get rid of it straight away? I don't know if I would.
It's a good case, and you're not wrong with everything you said with what Hannibal has done. You're not. I think in a period where the standards have been on the floor, and the best way to get out of that little rut was obviously to win games, but also to get back to basics, which is what we kind of said. Palestri will work his socks off as well. He's been doing that, getting up and down, just keeping his shape, doing all the basics correctly, and then chances will come if you have the control. But also Ten Hag as well on the flip side, although he's co-signed Hannibal and he's pleased with his progress, he also doesn't give young players too much too soon and let them get ahead of themselves. So I'm not suggesting that Hannibal is going to, because his attitude's clearly spot on. Work your ass off. He wants he wants this, what we're doing now. When you look at the team and you look at who's going to start, you have to say what you just said. You have to say, well, listen, this kid though, tell you what, it's quite refreshing seeing somebody, but then Ten Hag will also be looking at the other side of it, saying, I don't also want to just sacrifice everything, like quality, on the ball, creativity, for someone who's just going to run around. But in this moment, though, it is needed. But if Amrabat's in the midfield, I know he might not get around it like how Hannibal would, but he, with us on the ball and having more possession, he would give us that balance. And then also, Bruno's going to have more time on the ball and space on the ball in this type of game. And he runs. Bruno runs. Bruno, he's not as quick as Hannibal, but Bruno runs.
Does
Hannibal, Bruno, Casemiro will be fine.
Does it do a disservice to Hannibal to say, though, that he just runs around? Because I think that does a disservice to him, that what he's done in the last few games. He just runs around quite a lot. Because players can run around, but it's also actually pressing. It's also winning the ball back as well. It's also leading that press from the front. And also,
he's infectious on the team. He's infectious.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. If someone's doing it, then you tend to have others following him doing it.
Because Garnacho did it as well. He was bombing back another time.
And this isn't just, as I mentioned, this isn't just, they were good. These are like the best in the league. Like the best numbers in the league. And again, I think
the opposition, though, the opposition, you do have to take into account. You just got to have balance with this. We can't say like Hannibal's the answer. He's what we've always been needed. We don't need Bruno anymore. Sell him. We've got Hannibal. We don't do that. Oh, of course. So you're saying to me that Hannibal Mejbri is better than Bruno Fernandes?
I'm saying it's it's going to be interesting to see how he fits all of them in, which is why I go back to you
Yeah.
might
Well, they
actually
can't
have
all fit
Amrabat
in.
playing more often. And look, you don't always have to. We always say this, isn't it? You know, whenever we sign people, people go, "Oh, how is he going to stand for that on the bench?" Because you need to have options from the bench. That's why City are one of the best teams in the league. Because you look to their bench, you go, "It's unbelievable." All the people they've got to bring on. I think Bruno will come back in the week because he will. He's the captain. There's no way that Eriksen drops the captain. He comes in. So you then start to talk 4-2. So that's why I say I think the change would be Bruno for Facundo. And I don't see Reguilon coming back in.
Yeah. And also Reguilon's coming back off, you know, if he's a bit injured and he still is our only left back right now.
And a hamstring. You don't risk a hamstring.
Do you know what? As they say in the betting, whatever it is, cards or what, I'll match you on that. I'll jump on board. So so Reguilon doesn't come back. Amrabat keeps his place where it was. And then you got two pressing monsters in Hannibal and Mount as like 2/8s. But obviously when they don't have the ball, they're going to get back in and work hard and whatnot. And Casemiro is going to be in there. But Amrabat's also obviously going to go and join. So you've kind of got like a box midfield there. Or you've got Amrabat as the deepest saying, give me it, let me keep recycling, switches of play. Casemiro goes a bit further forward, he gets a bit of time and space, and you've got Hannibal and Mount buzzing around. And then you put Bruno for Palestri.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked
at that.
I wouldn't be shocked, actually, now you've said that. And I wouldn't be upset. Either way. I wouldn't be upset if that was it.
And this is what I didn't get before the game. I mentioned this on Tuesday, right, with Amrabat at left back, is social media freaked out.
Yeah, they did.
Way unnecessarily. Oh my God, what, Eric, you bold fraud. What are you doing? He's playing at left back. We signed him to be a midfielder and we're not playing there. What an idiot. What an idiot. People swearing he's a effing left back. And I went, wait a minute. Who else is going to play there? We have 3 injured left backs. 3. Count them 3. He came on against Burnley. Where did he play? Left back. So you're now sitting here going, you're shocked. I didn't see it coming. I just didn't see that. Of course he was going to play left back. We've got no one else to put there. And then at halftime, he's brilliant. He's brilliant at left back. Unbelievable. So, and then now we're saying he could play left back again the weekend. What is going on? Why would he play left back again? Because he did all right at left back. I understand it's a different.
Against a team like Palace as well. Yeah.
At home, low block. They're going to do the same.
How much do we need to be aware? This is kind of turned into a little bit of a preview, but we're talking about the squad altogether, though. How much do we need to be aware that Palace will give a better account of themselves and not just think
they will.
We're going to dominate. It's going to be really easy. So we just put him left back. You don't even need to play there because what will happen, in my opinion, is probably. I think that Ayew might go back to the right-hand side. Slop, because they'll need a bit of legs and just a bit of experience. I think Slop will go back to number 10, and maybe Eze will play on the left. They did that the game before. And then it was Will Hughes and Decore behind that.
That's why it's even more important.
So basically what my point is, Ayew will be more engaging than Rak-Saki. Ayew's not amazing, but you know what I mean, he'll ask more questions of Amrabat.
That's why it's even more important, I think, that we have those bodies in midfield because they will have better players that will be able to overrun us, more often than they did on Tuesday. So we will need those extra bodies. We talked about how Casemiro had his best game. It's no shock. He had his best game when he's got more people around him. He's got more support in there. He's got more people, a bit like Hannibal, a bit like Mount, that are willing to help him cover ground. Because we're all talking about, he's had his best game. It's because he didn't look like he was blowing after like 30 minutes because he actually was like, I can do just my job. I'm not having to cover those gaps. And that's going to be even more difficult against Palace on Saturday because they're going to have better players. The game will be moving a bit quicker.
But they will also, they will. I think they will carry more threat on the counter attack. They'll be a bit more engaging. But like you said, they will still start playing the same way. They will sit off. They will be compact because they're actually in the league. To be fair to Palace, they're quite difficult to score against. They haven't conceded a lot of goals. They haven't. And they, with Anderson and Gay, they're good centre halves. They are very good centre halves. Joel Ward's old now, and Tariq Mitchell. He's just all right. I was quite surprised with how much he was tucking in and leaving so much space for Palestri when that switch just kept coming and coming. So look, we can get at these guys. We shouldn't be scared of Crystal Palace, but we do have to be aware that they're going to be better. But we can be better as well. We can go up another level easily. And even the way we were playing the other day, if we play in that same manner, chances will come. When you have the control, chances will come. That's been our problem. We lack the control. The games are like basketball matches, and then we're relying on the flashpoints. We want to see. I know it was Palace's probably third choice team, whatever, but that's how we want to see us play against Aston Villa at home, against City at home, against Arsenal. Like we want to see that. And I know you can't completely dominate the really good teams like that, like a God-given right, but the way that we build up, the way that we're really patient with the build up, I really enjoyed seeing that. It was quite refreshing. But what I was going to say is, I forgot, because someone put it in the chat saying, how far is Mainu off, like, coming back? I forgot. Mainu.
They reckon,
Like,
they reckon just after October international break, I think they said, didn't they? Same with Ahmad.
I mean, to be fair, that's quite a long injury, That happened in bloody July, didn't it?
July, yeah.
So he missed the rest of July, all of August, all of September. Be like pretty much 3 months by the time he actually comes back. It's a long injury. It's a bad one, man.
Yeah.
When you think about it, to get that in your first, well, it wasn't his first season, but his first preseason where he's active and looked like he was going to play a big role. It's a hard pill to swallow. But when you think about adding him in, and obviously he's young, and we're not, that's why we needed Amrabat, But all of a sudden, you look at the stable that he's coming into, and you go Mount, Hannibal, Casemiro, Amrabat, Eriksen,
McTominay,
Bruno, McTominay, Mainu, 8. Now, I know you can say take McTominay out. What's the point? I get that. But all of a sudden, you're looking at the types, like Hannibal was saying, well, there's in certain games and how we're playing right now, there's a spot for him. He's done all right. You're looking at Mason Mount. Okay, it was a half, but he looks really good. He looks sharp. He can press. He can win the ball back. So already more mobility, a bit more control over the games. He's good on the ball as well. We know what Mainu can give. It's about developing that. That's fine. But that's a really positive sort of thing to have. The attributes he possesses. You're like, nurture this guy, keep him in the greenhouse, keep watering him every day, just give him the environment he needs. He's going to become something, definitely. So when you're looking at, we've got an aging Casemiro, which, let's face it, in the next couple of years, that's what's going to happen. But right now, he's still, as we see, if you give him the right surroundings and he's a bit of a slow burner into the season, if he can carry on what he did yesterday, the other day, and he was better in the other game. He was better against Burnley as well.
Burnley, yeah. Top goal scorer.
Yeah, he's exactly. So he's actually, after a slow start, he's our top goal scorer.
Also, Jamie Carragher. Do you remember him before at the end of the transfer window? Well, I think now they've got the best midfield, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. And then you're saying that it's not as if they, you go Caicedo, Lavia. Who else did they also got? Enzo Fernandez.
He said they've got one of the best. What did he say?
I find it. I bookmarked it.
About who? Casemiro.
Yeah, and he singled out Casemiro as well.
Oh,
that was part of it too.
He
was like, basically saying after the Wolves performance, that's it. He's finished. Blah blah blah.
He said, "I'll be concerned. They've basically got to replace him, haven't they?"
Here we go. At over £100 million, Fernandez, Rice, and Caicedo are better value signings than Casemiro at 70 million. He did very well last season, but watching him on Monday would be a worry for Man United fans with him at 31, with 4 years left on his deal, is what he said.
Yeah, it's just writing players off. And you see, what I was when I was doing the show, it was a show I do on 5 on Wednesdays with Danny Murphy. He was saying that he did a piece of work with BBC or something, and it was with a Spanish journalist, and because it was he just passed on the knowledge that he'd learned to me, and he was like, yeah, the journalists, obviously they're Spanish journalists, they watch Real Madrid week in, week out for years, they know, yeah. And he was like, Casemiro, almost every season, he is a very slow starter. Like he's a slow burner. He takes a while to get into his groove. He's always been like that. And it's just interesting to hear him say, and he told me that, like, this was in like against Wolves when we was just looking, a little bit after that, and we were like, fucking hell, what's happened to Casemiro? So it was a mixture of that. So he's a slow burner, according to the Spanish journalists. And obviously we weren't set up right at the beginning of the season. Look what Amrabat can basically hopefully give to someone like Casemiro in terms of, you're talking about unlocking a player, and I'm quite cautious to use that word sometimes, unlocking, because we did it all through Pogba's whole tenure. Someone needs this, or they just need that, or Martial just needs this manager, or he just needs to play here, or Rashford just need. I hate the unlocking term.
It's more, it's systems, isn't it? It's systems.
You can't hide from, if the system isn't right, people will be exposed. Like them first couple of games we played, the gaps in midfield. I don't care if you were prime Kante, mate. Like, you weren't going to cover them gaps. Probably Kante is probably the only one who actually probably could have by himself. But do you know what I mean? Though, you get my gist. Like, you couldn't. It doesn't matter who plays there. They were going to look an idiot. Do you know what I mean? That on top of he was being poor on the ball and kicking it out, and so I think hopefully now we'll get a little bit of back to my point with Mainu coming in.
It's not one thing, is it? It wasn't just one thing with him or anything like. But exactly. I do agree when it comes to, like, it is systems, and that's why I go back to looking at the fullbacks a little bit. Where I say Ten Hag's always liked to do invert fullbacks anyway, but I feel like he might have just sort of stumbled on something a little bit, going, actually, that can solve a lot of problems. We've said about how do we get more people in the middle. How do we support Casemiro? Because even when it was Casemiro Mount, Casemiro Eriksson, obviously in particular, when you talk about legs and covering ground, he's going, there needs to be more in there. How do I get more in there without sort of sacrificing some of those forward players that I've got? And obviously, like, he likes the inverted fullbacks. He might just be like, actually, that's the way I kind of do it. I get him in like that. And also, like I said, that number 10, usually it's Bruno in the 10. I prefer, obviously, Bruno. Everyone prefers Bruno in the 10 because when he's on the right, he's much more on the periphery of the game. But he might look at it just a bit more like, well, if that number 10 is sort of less of a creative 10 and more of an industrial 10, that's more likely to really drop back in and really press from the front. That maybe solves a bit of an issue as well. And then
I do think, though,
with the right-hand side issues that we have, maybe I do put Bruno there as well. And actually, because he's not really a winger, he'll be more, he'll be more in the middle as well.
Like how the left back can invert because we've got the space.
Yeah, I get more people in the middle of the in the pitch.
But let's not get this twisted. I do have to say this. There's a lot of stuff like we've just spoke about for a good half an hour already, right? Hannibal doing this, and he's doing really well. He's running around, his highest pressing stats, all these things. Let's not act like Bruno is not a top boy player. I know there's a lot right now of this is what happens when Bruno and Rashford don't play. Bruno wasted. I'm fed up. Another performance goes by and he's not this and he's not that. For me, right, he's still our best creator. Right? Fact. Well, it's not even just for me. Yeah. Factually, he's our best creator. And if behind him we start changing things, like bringing in Amrabat, like bringing in Mount, like what was the plan, like bringing in Hannibal for certain games or whatever, I see it as a bit different. I see it as now Bruno, and again, I'm going back to the unlocking word, but now Bruno can go and do what he needs to go and do. Bruno's honest. Bruno won't be in midfield and not run. I give him that. So my gripe with Bruno is like we when you do criticize Bruno, and to be fair, it's the decision making on the ball. Is he giving passes away, trying the Hollywood all the time, trying the blind pass? So he needs to neaten up on that. But if the structure of the team is better, right, and less frantic and less chaotic and more calm, then someone like Bruno, we're talking about other people who can get better from this or look better from this. We just spoke about Casemiro. We could just free up Bruno to do exactly what he needs to do. You know what I mean? You're never going to be able to say, Bruno, don't worry, don't work back. Like, we'll just get the ball back for you and you just play through balls. I'm not saying that. But in the wake of Hannibal doing well, let's not do this throw Bruno to the side thing like he's just
No,
he's
that's
still
why I say
one of our top players.
Yeah, he comes back in. That's why I said tomorrow, there is no way Bruno Fernandes is on the bench. There's just no way. He'll be back in. Because he just will. And this is where I think people do need to not get too carried away, because if Bruno had played on Tuesday, he would have got goals and assists. He would have. Palace were poor. Like that still would have happened. The interesting one, Flex, is Marcus Rashford on the left-hand side.
Well, before you do that, let's get these super chats out because it's quite a lot. Yeah. And we'll take it into that Marcus Rashford situation because I know that's where a lot of people want to go with this convo this morning. Daniel Luciano says he bought a Sancho jersey. Your dad, they're saying.
A couple of years ago, did.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah. When at his first season, he bought it, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Mank in Chicago says, ironically, Mank in Chicago is saying big up
Los
from Los
Angeles.
Angeles. Big up from Los Angeles, lads. Love the channel. Don't know if you're on holiday in Los Angeles or you was originally from, well, you're originally from Manchester, moved to Chicago, and then moved to LA. Don't know. Or you're just on holiday in LA. Yeah,
Nice.
jet setter. A show wouldn't be complete without Andy. Big up Andy. Andy's becoming quite a character where it's like he needs to come in with his negativity. Just that's just what he should do. He's known for it.
Yeah. Angry as
So
well, actually. Very
yeah, he's always
angry.
angry. But I feel like I wouldn't have Andy any other way now. Don't really want to change
Yeah.
him.
Angry
To be
Andy.
fair, Ang- angry Andy. Because a lot of people said when he came through the super chat, I saw people were laughing, saying Andy's here again. It's become his thing. So fair play, Andy. You are consistent. Andy says, Flex, sort out your watch along panel for F's sake. You already got KG with delusional vibes, but you got a guy saying win 2 games and we win the league. Joke for F's sake. Bet that was Micah. Probably Micah. I don't know. I wasn't even. I did look back. I'm just gonna say it was Micah. So yes, big up Andy coming in. Ash Odu says as a member from 14 months as well. Look at that longevity. Says the question is who is better on the right, Bruno or Mount, or will they just rotate? Keep that, Owen. I like that. Add that into the Rashford one. Add that into the Rashford one. Nasruddin, been a member for 4 months. Big up to you, Nasruddin. Says, I remember saying having Amrabat and Mason Mount against Bayern would have won us that game. They have to start tomorrow, otherwise we concede and possibly lose. Wow, from one extreme to the other. But I get what you mean about what I get what you're saying about, you know, how good those two can be for us if they play how we want them to. Big up to Steph in the our Steph on the channel. She's saying it's defo Micah. He said that. Tad says, personally, I think Eric Ten Hag is growing tired of first team players not doing the job. The younger players will be trusted to deliver. In my opinion, Hannibal will play. Yeah, it's kind of like what Owen said. You know, he's looking at him saying the young kid's setting an example. Andy's back again. Angry Andy. This time for you, Owen. He says, Owen, your takes on United are worse than Andrew Tate.
Is he Andrew Tate? Is that what it is? Maybe. Is it a bit of self-deprecating?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Possibly.
yeah, maybe he is. Maybe he is. Yeah, possibly. Tad says Rashford is more likely to be dropped over Bruno. And Tad also says Carragher will turn into Souness 2.0. I hope he doesn't, because actually, even though Carragher says some questionable things at odd time about Man United, I actually quite like him. But obviously, the situation that happened was a disgrace. To be fair, that was disgusting what he did. But he's not that bad. But he does show his Liverpool thing of what he really thinks when he goes in on our players. To be fair, so I do get that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so it was the Rashford situation and who's better on the right. So let's go to the Rashford situation because a lot of people, Owen, just like the Bruno thing, without Rashford, we're a million times better. The manager needs to know this. Ricky sent me a message after the game. Yes. Would any of you guys, we all know Ricky, would any of you guys like to guess what Ricky said to me in this WhatsApp message? Oh, Ricky's online now. Maybe he's watching.
Yeah.
Big up Ricky if you're watching. Guess what Ricky messaged me after the game on Tuesday? And you can guess as well.
Well, I'll leave it to the chat. I'll leave it to the chat.
Okay.
I'll leave it to the chat. And this is about the left-hand side.
It's just about everything. After the, it was just basically a breakdown. Yeah.
It'd probably be more, I think, along the lines of, see, I told you from years ago, you know, you need to have, I don't know, Facundo on the right. I'd get Marshall on the left. Something like that. Along those lines. Am I close?
Kind of. So again, this isn't like super private. Ricky won't mind me sharing this. He says these views on United Stand every single day. So this isn't like why you read that.
To anyone who passes in the street.
Yeah. So he started off like this: Miles better without Bruno and Rashford. And he also said, and please don't come back with its Palace reserves, as many have. He says either you can play football like that or you can't. We probably wouldn't have played as well against 11 dustbins if those two had played. Because he hopes the manager sees it. I've been telling you for years.
Fleck.
Yeah.
It's an
So
interesting
yeah.
one. I agree with the
Oh, and he
comment
says he'll be
before
waiting.
saying,
He'll be waiting with bated breath for the team news for this next game because he really wants Ten Hag to just keep it the same. Don't change it. But he's away,
he
and he's
will.
like, when I'm waiting for that team news, and he's going to be
Yeah.
pissed off. Ricky will tweet or say, do his video thing. I've just seen the team news come in, and now I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Ten Hag has gone back to Bruno and Rashford. Now, the thing is, those players, they're not going to keep that ball. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get done here or we just about win. The manager can't see it. Marshall is 10 times better than that Oiling kid. I'm telling you now. Shouldn't play. That's what he's going to say.
the high pitch at the end. Shouldn't play.
That's what he's going to say. That's what he's going to say.
The Rashford one, look,
tricky.
the Rashford one's interesting because, like we said earlier on, if out of the two, if any of them were going to get dropped or start on the bench, it would be Rashford as opposed to Bruno. Bruno will play. Bruno will start.
Yes.
I think both of them will start
Rashford
tomorrow.
Rashford is
I'd be really surprised. But this is what I was saying in that game against Palace. I would have almost liked Rashford either to start or at least come on because I do think he'd have got a goal in that game, and I think he kind of needs that at the moment. I don't think it's going to be a case of like, oh, Garnacho starts over Rashford because it just won't. But what I do think is a positive coming out of it is, like in the last few games, Burnley, Bayern as well, where we have said, why has Rashford stayed on the pitch? Because he's not offering anything.
It's that, yeah.
And now
my
my hope is that maybe, just maybe, Ten Hag turns to the bench and goes, you can come on. I'll take him off. Garnacho, come on, do something. I know you can do something. He did say after the game, didn't he, on Tuesday, that he wasn't happy with Garnacho's contributions against Wolves and Spurs, of course, because didn't Garnacho start both of those games because Rashford was playing through the middle, playing up front.
Yes,
we didn't have a striker at the time.
He did.
So,
yeah.
I think he said
against Wolves, and he done all right against Spurs in the first half an hour when we were doing that.
But he said, I wasn't happy, or he needed to do more, essentially.
Yeah.
And we know Ten Hag takes quite hard line with Garnacho, doesn't he? He'll take him out for a while and just not play him for ages, and then be like, why he went? Because he wasn't good enough in these games. Don't get any statements though, Flex, which is quite interesting. All that kind of stuff. But nevertheless, I think Rashford will start. But people are onto Rashford anyway. But then when they see the alternative and the alternative delivers, they're onto him even more because they'll say, look, it's not as if there's no other option because there is another option. And I think it's, what it is, wow, it's not even necessarily just the output with Rashford in terms of goals. It's the intensity. I think the thing that maybe won people over more with Garnacho on Tuesday wasn't necessarily the goal that he scored. It's the clip of him losing the ball and getting up and sprinting after it again.
Yeah.
Because we don't, when have we seen Rashford do that this season?
Well, with Garnacho as well, what I liked is sometimes we get infatuated with basically the winger just going past the player, doing skills and make sure you score or assist. But actually, better wing play is much more than that. Like what I liked about Garnacho is that he literally, in the words of Ricky, though, get it, give it, get it, pass it. Get it, give it, get it, pass it, move, pass it again. Like it's just it's that keeping the ball rolling and then creating the scenario whereby you are in isolation or you're 2v2. So you've got a runner on the outside of you. You could either slot them in or use that as a decoy to cut inside, cross, instead of just getting the ball, head down and engaging the defender. It's not, and that's sometimes what Rashi does. Rashi's always looking to be involved on the counter and looking to get involved where he can beat a man. He's confident. He knows he can go past players. And I think he's less innate for his first thought to be, okay, let me just link up. Let me get a feel for this. Let me keep the ball moving. It's more so how about he can beat his man, which when he does it, but when he does it down the outside, he's devastating. Like we've seen, anytime he's gone down the outside of his fullback, because let's give Rashi credit here, for the good things that he can do. Because it's all good just bashing him and saying the things he don't do. We need to talk about everything about his whole game, about how we can get the version of Rashford that we want to see. Because if you think about it, in terms of individual ability, going past players, clean striker with the ball, he possesses some X factor where he can do something out of nothing. He's extremely quick as well. And he does have a good touch. He's quite sharp, right, when he's at it. And again, when he's confident and not kind of sulking and stuff, he makes good runs. That's the positives. The negatives are his use of the ball when he has it. You know, like I said, decision making. And if the move peters out to nothing, he doesn't have that burning desire to just brush it off, keep smiling, essentially, run back, get back in, prove it.
Yeah,
because it does come across a bit like, I'm the big man. I ain't getting taken off. I'm the big man.
We've seen the raised hands. You know, we've seen that. You know when you've seen that a few times.
Exactly.
I forget which game it was. It might have been Spurs this season where he did it like 10 minutes and he turned to the bench to say like, you know, like that. And I thought that's early in the game.
It just looks like your body language is just a bit off. And I don't like to do that whole stereotypical old school journalism thing where they're like, you know, look at Martial's face. You know, he don't smile, so it means that it means this or it means that. But let's just judge it off of the actions they actually do, like the running, the get back into position, get in quick, put a tackle in. You know what I mean? Get back up, chomp at the bit. You know, bite someone's ankles to win it back. Have a bit of steel about you, not just your face looks a bit boring. I don't care about that. You know, Ozil's face looked like that for years. World class. Do you know what I mean? Like it can happen. Berbatov didn't change his face expression or break a sweat the whole game. Class. Like that's not what it is. Dennis Bergkamp's face didn't change. Like let's not do that. But I just think, and I'm not saying. So you're saying
Marcus, Dennis Bergkamp. You know where it's coming. You know where it was coming, don't you? The thing is with Rashford, it's the thing. And this is sort of my thing with him. Him not scoring goals or getting assists or whatever, or going through a rough patch of form, I don't mind as long as you see the application, as long as you see the grit, as long as you see. I tell you what, it's just. It ain't working out for him at the moment, but he's putting in the hard work.
Everyone can get behind that.
Then you're all right with it. The decision making, look, it's been a thing with him for a while. It's not as if this is anything new. People have said this when, you know, he played with strikers like Cavani, like Ronaldo, like whoever, you know, like they say, he's not the best at like linking up with a striker, getting the ball in the box and giving the striker opportunities. So that needs to improve, and that can improve. That's sort of coachable. That can improve. That's chemistry. That's relationships. You can get that to be better. My worry is maybe the less coachable side of things, the sort of innate sort of sides of, right, if you lose the ball and you're on your ass, do you want to get back up? A bit like, again, that Garnacho clip. Do you want to get back up, sprint back, win the ball back, or at the very least get in position, support your teammate? Do you want to do that? And that's my worry, because that's kind of an innate sort of personality spark that sometimes managers can get that out of players. Sometimes they can't get that out of players. And again, I'm not saying like, oh, you know, drop Rashford, get rid of him, anything like that. But it's kind of like when you've got other people in your team or in the squad that are willing to do it, then you have to put it upon yourself going, right, well, then I've got to do it because I'm going to lose out. And seniority be damned, because Marcus Rashford is the senior player in that position. Alejandro Garnacho is the kid in that position. He's 18. But if you get, I say the word lazy, but if you get complacent that, well, it's my position, I'm the number one guy in that position, eventually it will catch up to you. Like it will, especially in elite sport. That's the thing
we want to see. It's the staying on for 90 minutes without care. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter how bad the performance is. You know, people want to see that Ten Hag's not afraid to take off anyone if they're not doing what we expect them to do. You know, I know sometimes your best players get an easier ride than others because either they've got evidence to back it up or you know they can produce something special. You know, you look at the Burnley game, probably Bruno's the only one who can score that. Really.
Yeah. Even the goal against Arsenal that Rashford scored, it was a brilliant goal.
He's the only one, and he's done that 2 seasons in a row at the Emirates. Like, so he has these flash moments. But I do agree with the people who say just because someone gives you flash moments, that doesn't mean that they're always the best option for the team over 38 games.
It's a team sport at the end of the day, isn't it?
It's a team sport. So I think Rashi needs to have this injection of consistency where we know what we're going to get. Far too often with Rashi, it's either left or it's either right. It's either up or it's down. It's never in the middle. It's never something where you can put your hat on and say, he's going to give me a 7 at least. He'll go from there. He ain't going to go lower than a 7, you know? And he's going to work hard. He's going to be engaging. He's going to play in the right way. It's either you get a flashpoint and a little bit of magic and you go, oh, Rashi taking the piss. What a goal. Oh, look, sat him down, won the penalty. Oh, good cross, Rashi. Or he's just not trying. He's not. What's this? What on earth? He's not tracking. Look at him. He's not. I've lost count. We're in the stadium. I'm going, look, he's not. What's he doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know
Well,
what I
that
mean?
Brighton goal that they posted with the 30
Yeah.
passes, whatever, and you're looking around going,
He just gave
one of
up.
you not even running. You're doing that fake run. You know what I mean? When you do the
Yeah.
whole,
Trying to look
when you
busy.
go, but you're
Yeah.
not running. Like, for instance, this is what I say about Hannibal, yeah? And so you're saying Hannibal's better than Rashford, obviously. What I'm saying is that even if Hannibal started on Saturday and dropped an absolute stinker, we're going, his passing's way off. I told you he's not good enough. His numbers in terms of pressing, getting around, and trying will probably be the same as what it was against Burnley, because that's like the level of intensity that he operates at. With Rashford's, you don't know. You don't know what the level of intensity is going to be at. And I think in a fully idealized Ten Hag side, he needs that level of intensity every single game, like City, or even like with Liverpool. They operate at a level of intensity that you know is going to be there every single game. Obviously, for bigger games, it's going to be more. But for even the, seemingly easy ones, doesn't even matter at home, you're definitely going to win. The level of intensity is there every single time. And I think that's the thing with Rashford. You don't know where that intensity level is going to be at with him. Then factor in, the decision making and all that kind of stuff, which I do still believe that can get better. I do believe that his relationship with Rasmus Højlund and their connection can get better. Because if you're a good player, you can adapt your game. If you're a good player, you can tweak your game. And if you're a smart player, you have to also realize that sometimes it's not about your numbers, it's about the other players' numbers, if that makes the team more likely to win. Bruno mentioned it when you spoke to him in pre-season, didn't you? We said, well, your numbers and goals dropped off. He went, that's because, I'm not happy with those numbers. But if it means that other players are doing better and we're winning, it doesn't matter. So maybe Rashford has to also realize that, it's not just about, everyone's raving about the season I had last season, best goal scoring season ever. But if I score half of those goals, but Rasmus Højlund scores 30, or if I score half those goals, but everyone else gets more goals and my intensity level's up, we're more likely to win. We're more likely to succeed.
I don't care about, like I said, who gets the goals. I know it's nice to have a poster boy to say, oh, look, we got the guy who's got the golden boot. We got the guys, it was nice to say Rashford scored 30 goals. Sit down. And I'm not going to forget that, because especially in a time where we wasn't scoring. Look at our scoring record last year. If Rashford didn't have the season that he had, we wouldn't have been able to finish third. Like, we had the best defense in the league, the most clean sheets in the league.
Clean sheets, yeah.
So that was something that was collectively good. You have to say that, and that's with a lot of goals coming in certain games. 7-0, 6-3, 4-0. You know what I mean? Like, we had some bad ones as well. So if those were like 2-1 losses instead of fucking 7-0s and shit like that, I swore a lot then. Sorry. If they it's really early. Sorry, guys. If they were like, if they were half of those, then we would have conceded a lot less as well. They were really densely, skewed because we got battered in a few games. But I'm saying that I won't forget that. But essentially, you don't want that. You don't want one man to just score all the goals. I know City do it with Haaland, but that's a bit different because of the way that they play, and that's his biggest attribute is the goal scoring. You know what I mean? He's just a machine. But for me, I want us to, like you said, share the goals out. If Rashford got 12, whoever plays right wing got 10, Højlund can get between 15 and 20 in the league. Bruno can get 8, 10, you know what I mean, with 9, 10 assists. Happy with that. Casemiro's going to chip in with his customary 6 or 7, because that's just what he does. I'm happy with that. That's the sort of numbers that we need across the thing. But that's only going to happen, like you said, if people start adapting their game. And Højlund's only going to get the service, like I asked Ten Hag in the presser, like we wanted to ask him as a community in the presser against Bayern. Have you spoken to Marcus about trying to adapt his game, and do you think he can do it? And he said, absolutely, yes, I have spoke to him, and he does need to do that. And it's going to keep growing. They're new together. And actually, to be fair to Rashi, he's got a couple of assists out of it. He got one against Bayern, one disallowed against Brighton for Højlund. So that would have been 2 that he set up for him. He nearly got one at Arsenal where he cut it back to him. And I think it was good defending by Gabriel at the near post, but that would have been another goal. So, but then there's other times against Burnley where the radar's a little bit off. He's tried to pass it to him when Højlund wasn't really in a position to get it. And then another time, Rashford's running with it and then takes the shot when he should pass. So it's those frustrations, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Rashford had to pick up the burden last season for not having a striker. We didn't have a striker all the way through the season. So
Yeah,
Rashford had to score his goals plus striker goals, essentially.
yeah.
He had to lift that burden. And again, you can't forget it, but it's not last season now. It's a new season. We've got a striker, and we've got a way that Ten Hag wants to play. And he'll need to adapt. He'll need to adapt. If football is a what have you done for me lately kind of sport, last season's last season. The best players, we said this when he got his contract, the best players, they do it every single season. It's not just one season. It's not just a patch in one season. And they adapt. Look at when Van Persie came in at United. He came into a team of people like, Wayne Rooney, who's playing up front, scoring goals. And Sir Alex says, forget that. Get the ball to Van Persie. Your job now, Wayne Rooney, is to get the ball to Van Persie. Forget your goals. He needs to score goals.
That's your job. Yeah, exactly. And what did Rooney do? No problem, boss. He done it his whole career. Do you know what I mean? We've got this guy called Ronaldo now. You got to adapt your game.
Get the ball to him.
We've got this guy called Tevez. You're going to play up front with him. You're going to play just off him. Like, he's going to be a menace.
Look at Real Madrid. Karim Benzema, one of the best goal scorers of all time. And what's his role at Real Madrid? Get the ball to Ronaldo. Forget your goals. You know what I mean?
There's levels. Also, what I would say is, I think my original guess, which you I think you said it as well, of Martial's role this season. Remember, people were scoffing at it and saying, "Oh no, just get him out. Sick note. Can't believe he hasn't gone." And I said, he's going to have a role to play this season. One though that has been adapted to that he can actually manage. And what that is that Højlund's new, and needs time to bed in, and is coming back from an injury as well. But forget the injury bit. Just in general, he's going to need time. He's young, and we've got so many games. This is actually perfect for Martial now. He's at a stage of his career for all of the things wrong. Can't play. He can't. Do you know what I mean? His body type's changed. Where anytime he finds himself in the left, by the way, where he might go at players, he just don't have that anymore. Like change of direction. Like when like old school Martial from the left. Like he just doesn't.
He could never play.
Like even just looking at him, like he's so much now. Like I'm just a Firmino type. Just I just make the ball stick. I'll win a couple fouls. I'll get on a half turn. In the words of Rick, get it, give it, pass it.
That is literally his game.
That's his game.
Get it, give and go. That is,
and you know what? Fine. In the moments like there's a Carabao Cup game in midweek, play that. Play it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And play it well and get your goal as well, by the way. Played all right.
Against Bayern Munich. Come on, do some good link-up play. Look good.
Good link-up play. We nearly scored from it. So while the kid is learning, it's not all on him. And if people might boo like they did the other day when Højlund had to come off, which would have been agreed. I know everyone went mad, and obviously we were losing that game, so it changes. But results and goals change everything. If Højlund comes off against Palace and we're 1-0 up or 2-0 up and we look quite comfortable, I guarantee for Martial, no one's going to go, "Oh, boo, what you're doing, Eddie, you lost the plot." They're going to clap Højlund off for a good 65, 70 minutes. Well done, kid, you got your goal, or you put it about a little bit. Martial could probably come on and score in the last 15, 20. So and plus the load that he has to carry because his body can't manage, a lot of games or a lot of minutes. It's perfect for him. So actually, with us not having money to get another striker and Martial's stock fell so bad, it's important that we just keep him fit. So actually he can help. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we don't want to rely on him.
No.
I'm not saying give him a new deal.
Yeah, either way, it would have been like if Højlund had started on Tuesday, it would have been like, gotta be careful, don't run him into the ground. We've got to be really careful. And in the same way with Martial, we'd be like, well, if we only had Martial, I'd be like, God, we can't. He wouldn't have played.
Exactly.
He just wouldn't have. They'd have been like, we can't. So
Joe says Flex just said Martial as good as Firmino. Confirmed.
That's exactly what you said, Flex. Exactly.
Yeah.
Facts.
But you get what I mean, though, isn't it? Like it's actually working quite well, that side of it, where Martial can play either once a week for the majority of a game, then come off, or he can fill in the consistent games and come on for 15, 20 minutes.
And I still say, he's got 1 year left on his contract. I don't think he'll be a United player next year. I think this will be his last year.
Absolutely not.
And it should be. It should be. Was he on 250k a week? It should be his last year.
But right now, in this period, that's not a bad situation to have, where you've got a fit Martial or whatever a maximum fit version is, which is probably this
in 2023.
In 2023, you've got that version where he's not injured anyway. He's available. Højlund will start the games. You know, he will be the main guy. He will get the majority of the minutes. And then when we play Carabao Cup, FA Cup, you know, sandwiched in between Champions League, home and away, or whatever it is, or, you know, Martial
winning games, you know,
winning games, scoring goals. Martial will come in and he'll get a couple here or there. And before you know it, we'll look back and go, Martial, he's got 9 goals, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Super chats before we finish off. Lil Yo-Yo says, Fleck, you actually need to be a voice actor. Yeah. If I ever quit this, I'll maybe try and go into that.
Yeah.
Van says, Mount has been given number 7 shirt. He's been signed to replace Bruno, not shoehorned on the right. Eric Ten Hag dropped Maguire as captain last year. He'll repeat it. Wow. Strong words from Dan.
He dropped him for Bruno.
Yeah. Wow. Red Devils Down Under says, I want more goals. That EFL Cup performance was very nice. I want that performance and 5 goals. Bruno masterclass incoming. Big up UV. Hit the likes as well. Yeah, please do smash a like on the way up. And Nem Green says, Rashford needs to have bald Rooney vibes. Win the ball. Yeah, shaven head Rooney just running around, just kicking people. Yeah. Honestly, there you have it. Anyway, guys, like we said at the top end of the show, busy day today. Owen's going to be live with the presser. Hopefully we get some injury news just quickly on the way out. Actually, Samuel Luckhurst and Laurie Whitwell was kind of talking about, although Alessandro Martinez has been out for a little bit, it's not thought to be serious. He's having just a bit of discomfort. And Owen did say his foot's not right. Something's not right. And when he was sitting, it was weird. I just turned to my right and I was like, oh, there's Reguilon and there's Reguilon and Alessandro. And Alessandro's always looking miserable. He's always like that. But he was like, so Sergio, how you doing? And then just next to that was Garnacho's family, which was quite nice actually. His brother who's always on Twitter. Yeah, I think it's that brother. He was on his phone like this the whole way through. At the end, he's finished it. He's gone straight on the highlights, and they were so happy when he scored. His mum was there. His pregnant wife, fiance was there. She was happy. It's nice to see that side of it because you know, like when you're in the stands, and it's so funny because like when there's like a ball that's given away or the ref blows for a foul and it ain't a foul, you should see Reguilon and think, oh no, obviously talking their language, so I can't do it. That's my Spanish.
Dynamite impressions. That is why you should be a voice actor, Flex.
I remember Garnacho scored. Vamos! Let's go, vamos! That was funny. But yes, back to Martinez. It was, they're saying that it shouldn't be too long before he's back, so it's not serious, which is good. So hopefully Ten Hag can give us an update on that during the presser and others coming back as well. So smash the like on the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.